This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight, police investigating another murder here in the capital, the third in less than 24 hours. Plus, hear what the Christian Council president has to say on what needs to be done to fix the country's crime problem. And residents sound off on the possible VAT hike.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. Topping the news, more bloodshed here in the capital after a man was shot dead outside his home in what appeared to be an armed robbery last night. It marked the third murder in less than 24 hours after two men were gunned down in a barbershop yesterday morning. Police Superintendent Shanta Knowles says officers were alerted to a shooting at Refuge Court, Hollywood subdivision off Cowpen Road, shortly after 10 p.m. yesterday.
Our information tells us is that this male arrived at home along with his kids. A short time later, a vehicle pulled just behind him. A man came from that vehicle armed with a firearm, demanded cash. We're told that he may have searched him, shot him before he got back into the vehicle and sped away.
Police can only confirm that the suspect got away in a Japanese vehicle. The victim, however, died on the scene. It is unclear whether the incident unfolded before the deceased father's children, as they were with him when he arrived home.
We are speaking to or trying to get as much information as possible that can lead us in the direction of solving this matter very quickly. So we are appealing to members of the public, those especially in this Hollywood subdivision who can give us any information, anything that can help us to identify those responsible for this incident tonight.
Grief-stricken family members were also on the scene who could not contain their emotions. Some even called for criminals to be hanged.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God, why they kill him? No! Oh, God! Yeah, man! All that government for it! Oh, God! What in the hanging? What in the hanging? Hang these niggas! Hang these niggas!
Well, President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Delton Fernandez, says it will take more than just police to fix the country's crime problem. On the heels of the third murder in less than 24 hours and just days after a 6-year-old boy was gunned down leaving for school, Fernandez says the country is at a place where more needs to be done within the community to fight crime. Our Kyle Joaquin tells us more.
Any life lost is one too many. In particular, when we lose the life of an innocent child, it is a wake-up call to us as a nation.
On Tuesday, as he left his home, 6-year-old Cameron Cooper, a second-grade student at Columbus Primary, was hit by a stray bullet. He died shortly after in hospital. His death sent shockwaves through the community. But it comes just months after another boy was shot and killed in his home as he did his homework, and a baby boy shot as gunmen opened fire on his father. 3 young boys killed within a year by bullets not intended for them. It's a scary thought, according to the Christian Council president.
That this retaliation, this snuffing out of life, I think we had an AK-47 involved in a snuffing out of a life on Burnett Road, and if this is a tit-for-tat type event that takes the life of a 5-year-old, much less the adult, we have to realize that this assassinations that are taking place needs a response that is national, needs a response that is community-based, needs a response that all of us are on board. But we've got to make a statement as a country that this is intolerable.
Despite the recent killings over the past few weeks, crime is still down compared to last year. There have been over 40 murders so far this year. Regardless of the decrease in murders, Fernandez said one is still too many.
This is not the way we want our young children to worry about walking out and being raped, walking out and being murdered. This is not the Bahamas we know. And as a country, we've got to take response. All of us have to take response, including the church, and try to do better. I'm not saying that we have all the solution, but we have to try and keep trying.
Fernandez said the police can only do so much, as well as the church.
Let me say that no one entity holds the solution to crime. Like I said, it is a apartheid type situation where all of us must play our part until we recognize that. And if we believe that we can retard crime by patrol cars and officers, we might be very much displaced because crime is a symptom of a problem. And wherever there's an opening and there's a mindset to do crime, it will happen. And you can police your way into a police state where there's no freedom. Accountability begins with a society that starts holding each other accountable.
For our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
All right, thanks a lot, Kyle. On to other news now. The proposed value-added tax hike has been one of the biggest issues to come out of the 2018-2019 budget debate. But according to Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest, there is still a lot more to come as the debate continues over the next few weeks. Our Jasmine Brown explains in this report.
While Turnquest was tight-lipped on the details, he did say over the next few weeks, the Minutes administration will make its case and explain why they made the controversial move to raise the value-added tax rate by 60%. And the strategy isn't exactly new.
Well, again, we will continue to outline our case. We will continue to explain to the Bahamian people why we've had to take the action that we've taken, in our view. We will explain some of the excesses that has been characterized in ministries of finance and government over the years that has led us to this point. And if necessary, we will outline the hypocrisy of those who are now speaking against this budget.
Members of the Progressive Liberal Party have been vocal about their opposition to the 2018-2019 budget. The key point of contention has been the fact that the government intends to increase VAT from 7.5% to 12%. After making the announcement in Parliament earlier this month, the DPM has spent the last week and a half publicly defending the move. Turnquest says the increase is necessary to pay off arrears as part of the government's 3-year fiscal consolidation plan. Despite the fact that many are not pleased with the explanation, Turnquest says the government is resolute in their decision.
At the end of the day, this is we recognize that this is a change. It requires work, but again, if we're committed, I think we can make the deadline.
Turnquest says with the next fiscal year only weeks away, the government will do all it can to convince Bahamians the VAT hike is the right thing to do.
We continue with our educational campaign to try and sensitize and have the ordinary man understand what it is we're trying to accomplish and why it's important that we accomplish the goals that we have set out. Again, if we look at our regional neighbors who are going through some tremendously difficult times now, and what that all means.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Over the past 2 weeks, backlash to the government's plan to increase VAT has come from many sectors of the country, from business owners to civic groups and even the Christian Council president. Well, inner city community residents are speaking up as well. We get that story tonight from Jillian Gray.
As of July 1st, the rate of value-added tax will increase from 7.5% to 12%, and it's a move that inner-city residents say will do more harm than good. Of major concern is how the cost of living will increase once the tax is implemented. Community residents have called for an increase in minimum wage to combat the increase in value-added tax, and it's a move that Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest said they're not considering at the moment.
If you can increase VAT, right, which is a tax, increase some salary for the poor people, because that's what will hurt the most.
What are we really doing with this VAT price? Are we raising the pay? Are we downgrading on some of the things in the shops? What is it that we doing to pay for this VAT thing? Is it they say?
So you think there needs to be more information given to the Bahamian people?
Yes, I feel there needs to be more information. I feel as if that the public need to know. So don't just hide in the offices and be like, okay, yeah, we raising the VAT price. Okay, we raising the VAT price, then what?
Yes, that have to increase, because you can imagine you getting paid $210 working for 1 week, going to work for 8 hours, 30 minutes break, not even a whole hour, 30 minutes, and then within that 30 minutes they rushing you to come back on your station. Come on now, everybody that worked for minimum wage, so we know how this thing go. They don't care about no one from you working in these places. They don't care about you. Some of this, you ain't even work. You ain't getting paid no $210 because you must be going to work for 3 days, 4 days. So you getting paid like one something. Oh, that one something, they got to take out national insurance. Oh, that national insurance, they got to take out bank check. You got to change the check or whatever that is you got to do. So you earning with what, $90? Oh, that $90, you got to try to get something for you to eat, get something for you. If don't have a child. That one over because you don't have no money. So you got to go back on the same job and paying you just one something to let people talk to you any kind of way. Oh, good day, can I take your order? No. You got to increase that for people to actually work hard. In the United States, minimum wage is at least $9 and over. That is minimum wage. I ain't asking our minimum wage to be that because we have a lot of stuff we trying to deal with right now. But at least make it like a little $2 or $3 extra. Make the person who going to work to that certain establishment feel good.
The F&M government has boasted that crime is down. However, some community residents fear that won't be the case when value-added tax is increased. Residents say they feel the country will get worse, as some who are already falling on hard times may resort to illegal means to make money.
A lot of the little businesses can phase out, right? Because they're struggling now. So it just make it harder for the actual people. Our community can suffer more.
Well, with the VAT thing, I don't know how people's going to make it with it. But then again, right now, they're in the House of Parliament speaking about they must cut up to 12%. That ain't making no sense. And then you have Mr. Tankress who hollering out, say, duty-free on plane parts and planes. But if he want to buy a plane, he could buy a plane. But then at the end of the day, you got parents out there who can't even take their own children. They can't even go to school. They can't even catch the bus. Why you think so much things happening to the children? You hear the children's getting raped or someone snatching them, grabbing them. Because you know why? This spot keep going up and the crime just keep increasing. They getting robbed in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night. People trying to get home to their homes. They're getting robbed for what?
This is no laughing matter because this is a disgrace. People getting killed over senseless things. Little children getting caught in the act, getting killed. And then police them coming on the scene, they got to pick up the body and leave because only people who can feel it is the parents. They got to go home, go to sleep without their child on the side of them. It's sad because I'm a parent as well. So you could imagine me seeing this on TV and be like, mother's sick, this little boy ain't even get to live his life yet. A straight bullet.
Over the past 2 weeks, many have questioned why the government didn't have public consultation before making the move. Some residents say they feel helpless, and others say they're not sure the government would have listened either way.
Man, they asked us about gambling, and you see what they do. We had a whole referendum, but after that, we still gambling. So it didn't make no sense what we say no more. It's just what they say. So whatever they say, it goes.
It's terrible. Very terrible. But what can I do?
Do you think that the Centerville community or any inner city community is ready for the VAT tax?
No, because it can boil right back down. We ain't got no money.
The move to increase value-added tax is a part of the government's plan to generate additional revenue to meet their obligations. Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
And with VAT set to increase to 12% in just a matter of weeks, Eleuthera business owners are in full preparation mode. When Our News visited the island last week, we spoke to a few of them. Julian Carey helps his family to run their business on the island. He said he knows it's definitely going to be an additional expense for the company to make necessary adjustments, but that they have no other choice.
Oh, definitely. But you
think you can handle it?
Well, as long as you're in the ring, you got a box. You got a box as long as you're in the ring. So, you got to do what you got to do.
Carey said while he's not too happy with the plans to increase VAT to 12%, especially without public consultation, he understands the government has to do a job.
It's going to be a rough ride for the businesses and everybody else in terms of, VAT being implemented. A lot of prices got to change, a lot of work in the store, software got to change, upgrade. There's be a lot of work. It'll be a rough ride, but we kind of knew it was coming, we just didn't know when.
So you expected it?
Yeah, well, it had to come at some point because, if, like everything else, if you're spending $100 and only $90 coming in, in order to, avoid future downgrades, it got to come from somewhere.
It was a bit hard to get business owners on the island to speak on the issue, with a lot of them fearing a possible backlash. But George Major, who owns a transportation company on the island, wasn't afraid to speak his mind.
Well, if the government is in control of the finances, and they have to determine whether it's conducive to growth and the general upkeep of the environment of the country. So they have to determine that. They have to keep the general population in consideration.
So you understand?
I understand it. I understand it. And as long as they create the opportunity for business growth, it's okay. You know, it's okay once the opportunity is there for business growth. There's no problem.
And we will take a break here, but still ahead tonight. In the face of a possible VAT increase, one author is giving 4 ways for you to master your own economy. And the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation gears up to host its 5th annual National Conclave.